These verses represent yet another example of the Johannine literary technique in which Jesus, 1, makes a statement, 2, a statement which is misunderstood, and 3, is followed by an explanation. Let's see what I mean. There are a series of such conversation cycles in this story of Jesus encountering the Samaritan woman. In the course of these, the woman is being progressively led from outsider who misunderstands to enlightened insider. That process will be complete at the end of Jesus' self-revelation, where Jesus said to her in John 4:26, "Ego eimi is the one speaking to you." At the beginning of the conversation, Jesus says, "If you knew," but she does not know. If she did, she would be the one to ask for a drink, not Jesus. By verse 15, she is asking for the water. Jesus offers living water, which has double meaning. Like anothane with Nicodemus, it has double meaning. One meaning is the ancient way of referring to water that is flowing, living water, flowing water, not stagnant well water. But living water is also John's anti-language for life inside the Johannine Jesus group. But again, she misunderstands and queries him about a bucket. Jesus again explains, this time pointing out that the water he offers brings eternal life. Jesus' explanation is yet another statement, one that she misunderstands. She wants the water, but she does not fully understand what he's talking about. But notice she's growing in understanding him and growing in more emotional intimacy with him with each passing statement and explanation. She imagines avoiding the daily drudgery of carrying water from the well. 5 gallons, ladies and gentlemen, of water on her head weighs about 65 pounds. That's what Middle Eastern women do. That's how much they're carrying on their head. Up terrain and down terrain. Pretty strong, right? For malnourished people. Note that the Johannine Jesus is willing to share a drinking vessel with the woman, a seriously polluting act by Pharisaic standards, given the fact that he is a stranger, sharing a utensil with a Samaritan woman who is like a perpetually menstruating, unclean thing. I want you to remember this the next time you think about who should be admitted to the Lord's table, the altar, and who should not be. And say, just think about it. Yet she is willing to share with him. He in turn treats her like family. And now she begins to reciprocate like family. And this is very subtle, and modern Western commentators fail to get it. The point is very important because it signals that the space Jesus and the woman occupy is being transformed from public space, where their actions would have been considered socially deviant, into private space, family space, where their conversation is normal. In other words, she is being incorporated into the Johannine Jesus group. Interpersonally, the woman is becoming part of the group of disciples forming around Jesus. Hence, she's no longer a Samaritan woman with whom he would not speak, but she is part of the teknopheu. John chapter 4, verses 16 to 19. Jesus said to her, "Go call your husband and come back." The woman answered and said to him, "I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying, I have no husband. See, this is something you would never talk about with a stranger in public. It must mean they're no longer strangers. It must mean this is no longer public. This is private space. Jesus said to her, you're right in saying I have no husband, for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you have now is not your husband. What you've said is true. The woman said to him, Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you people say that the place where people must worship is in Jerusalem. Now we've gone from water to husbands to worship. So the theme here turns to the woman's husbands and then to worship. Let's stay with woman's husbands. How did this happen? How do we go from water to husbands? Okay, first Jesus and the Samaritan woman were talking about water, right? Yes? All right, Jesus makes a statement, give me a drink. This led to a misunderstanding in verse 9 on the part of the woman. How is it that you, a Judean, ask me a drink of me, a woman of Samaria? Watch the screen. This required a clarification on the part of Jesus. Verse 10, if you knew the gift of God and who it is who is saying to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. The clarification, however, is likewise a statement that leads the woman into a further misunderstanding in verses 11 and 12. Sir, you have no bucket, and the well is deep. Where do you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well, and with his children and his flocks drank from it? This in turn requires further clarification from Jesus. In verses 13 and 14, everyone who drinks from this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water I shall give will never be thirsty. The water I will give will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life.
So, are you greater? He just said yes.
That is the implication. Later he's going to say he's greater than Moses too. Moses didn't give you the bread from sky vault, but my Father gave you the bread from sky vault. I am, ego eimi, the bread from sky vault, right? Yeah, that's pretty extraordinary. This statement, right, of the inferiority of Jacob's well to Jesus' water, right, that statement evokes further misunderstanding. But I want you to see what's going on here, folks. You understand? She started off by saying, hey, Judean, to sir. To sir. Eventually it's, I don't have a husband. Oh, sir, you are a prophet. Do you see what's happening? She's becoming more and more connected and more deep. Even though she's misunderstanding, she's not perfectly understanding Jesus, nor does she claim to, by the way, like Nicodemus. We know that you're a great teacher. She is growing in relationship with Jesus, and the space that they're occupying starts off as public and hostile, and now has become intimate and private. It is family space. So the statement, of the inferiority of Jacob's well to Jesus' water evokes further misunderstanding on the Samaritan woman in verse 15. Sir, give me this water, because I don't want to keep coming trudging up here to get well water. Now the theme here turns to the woman's husbands. The command Jesus gives the woman, go call your husband and come back, is not misunderstood by the woman. She just can't follow it. She responds truthfully, and twice Jesus praises her. The candor of dialogue between Jesus and the woman here indicates that now they have entered into a private Mediterranean space. This is a private conversation. You don't talk about a woman and her husbands with a woman in public. In fact, you don't talk with a woman in public if you're a man, especially if you are a man of a different people. But that he is doing this shows that Jesus is getting married to the people of Samaria in the Johannine Jesus group. And what has happened is John expects us to get what culturally is going on. This woman is intimate and in private family. She's being incorporated into his family. his surrogate family, the Johannine group. The matters they speak of would never be talked about in public. This is further evidence that the social space they occupy, the well, is being transformed and has been transformed. Hey, thanks for watching. Just continue the playlist for the next part of the study. If you have further questions, this is good. They will get addressed, so keep watching. If you found value, please subscribe, like, and share. As always, questions, comments, and criticisms are most welcome. God bless you.